Hello, everybody. Welcome to Walk in Purpose. This is episode 23. For anyone that's new, for anyone that's their first time listening, Walk in Purpose is all about men all around the world telling the story about mental health, talking about growth, and sometimes we laugh, sometimes we joke. Walk in Purpose, every Sunday there's an episode on all major platforms. Also, you get a visual version just to see our faces, just to see sometimes that we're actually smiling. We're actually, like you're smiling right now, which is great, see? We're actually smiling sometimes, and it's not always, yeah. So this is a safe space for men to talk about stuff, to talk about certain things that can set someone else free, pretty much. If anyone's listening, thank you again so much. I'm here with an amazing man. We've been chatting back and forth for the past 5 or 6 months, honestly, and this guy is amazing. Again, thank you for the birthday video too. Erwin, this is my brother for life. We definitely want to meet up in the future, pretty much. Sir, feel free to introduce yourself.
Thank you, man. I love that. I love that introduction. There's so much. Do you know what, Craig? There's so much love and humility in you. You're a beautiful man. You really are. And like you said, we've been connecting for 5 or 6 months, and you knew I was coming up for this operation. You're like, don't worry, bro. We'll get to it in your own time. And I really needed that. So I've already thanked you for that. But thanks again. So yeah, my name's Ewan Corlett. I'm an integrative person-centered counsellor fundamentally. In recent times, well, for the last year or so, I've had this dream of working with young men more predominantly. I get a lot of young men coming through my counselling doors, and I kind of realised the universe was opening up to say to me, Ewan, your work is here. And lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown was kind of a trigger for me to begin to focus my energies more on how I can fulfill that need. And there's a lot of need amongst young men. So I thought, well, coaching is it seems from the research I did that coaching is a more palatable option for a lot of young men, and maybe like the doorway in to get them the help they need if they need greater mental health assistance. So I've started this Young Men Evolution. That's what I've branded it as, and it's very much in the early stages, but a similar vision to yourself. It's about empowering young men to be vulnerable, to express themselves, and to believe in themselves so that they can go out and live their full potential and contribute to the world in the capacity that they're able to, and to live a life of humility, love, connection, and strength and honor, and all of those amazing principles that you definitely demonstrate through your platform. And you're a great role model, and I like to think of myself as a role model too, and that young men very much in need of that, some more so than others, but of course that's what we're a similar vision in that. So yeah, that's what I'm about.
I love that. That is so powerful, because young men, we need someone to look up to, pretty much, right? And a lot of times you're thinking, as a young man, even as a man our age, you're thinking, no one understands me, or no one has the same similar background on my story. So it's very encouraging when someone says, oh, he looked just like me, or his story is similar to mine, or he went through the same thing I've been through. So by you just launching that, I know that's going to be it's super amazing. I'm proud of you for that. And like, keep doing what you're doing, brother, and blessing the world. The world needs people like you.
That straight back at you as well. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And that reminds me, go to my next question. 2020 has been like a year. 2020 can be a book. 2020 can be a movie, like dramatically. I hope nobody steals that idea. But 2020 can
shelve that. Come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Creative minds. What's your mindset currently of 2020, pretty much, in the past?
Rebirth.
Yes.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Rebirth.
Yeah.
So much awakening happening in the world. Everything's really in paradoxical. It's kind of like the greatest ills of hundreds of years are really coming forward to question us, to get ourselves to really deeply question the truth of what's going on in the world. Love and connection heals all, right? And I think so many people are suffering out there. So when you ask that question, rebirth, an opportunity to embrace the truth that maybe many of us are avoiding. We need connection. and we need to live a life in alignment with humility, respect, honor, support, empathy, all of those things that allow us to evolve into our greatest selves. And I think that there's a window of opportunity, 100%, for us to do the work. And as I see what you've been doing, and myself and many others that I've been connecting with, have really embraced that opportunity to send a message out of love. I just call it of love, right?
Yeah.
Simply, so yeah. I think, yeah.
I agree with that like 100% because I done had this idea of uplift kings and everything until the pandemic started. To be honest,
really?
Yeah. So it's amazing. It's really changed my point of view how I view the world. Because a lot of times you're in America or you're in different country, you're thinking only us are going through that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh man, this thing is global. So it's a beautiful thing when we all of us started connecting, they all started meeting up, and this person going on that interview and that person, and we created this amazing like platform. It's a beautiful thing to see that, especially like right now what's going on in the country. A lot of tension with races and all this, and it's a great thing to see some people with different backgrounds just getting together.
Yeah.
Say, hey brother, I love what you're doing. Let's connect. It's just
and that is the word, isn't it? Connect.
Yeah.
And as you say, with everything that's going on with the race issue in America and the race issue worldwide, right? I love that. As you say, it's just about connection.
Yeah.
That's all it is, isn't it? We see everything that's going on, and all we want to do is connect.
Yeah.
Like, all of us. That's all we want to do is connect deep down. So yeah, here we are connecting.
And it's amazing. It's truly amazing. This goes to my next question. Pretty much like telling your story. Pretty much. Have you ever faced anything far as like depression, anything like that? Far as anything that kept you held down in the past? You know what I'm saying? Far as telling your story.
I knew that there was potentially the question of race coming, which I was nervous about, being a white guy coming on, and I was very conscious that the title is Uplift Kings, and I wanted to acknowledge that I'm, in my limited awareness, I'm aware that the word king and queen is very much used in the Black community to respect, right, as a mark of respect. And I wanted to just firstly say thank you for having me on. As a white I was going to say middle-aged then, but I guess I am coming up for that. But with a very probably a very as a child, a very white perspective. I grew up in a white environment, so I grew up with a lot of stereotypes, and I grew up with so much Black culture around me in music, Tupac, Biggie, jungle drum and bass, dancehall, reggae, all of that. I very much, because obviously the Caribbean community, West Indian community in the UK is huge, and the influence of the Black community in British society is massive. Like it's the predominant culture amongst certainly the younger generation, but it's not honoured by the main medias to the degree it should be. Anyway, I've kind of gone off piece. Your question.
Nice.
I'm passionate about that topic very much.
That's fine. Hey, feel free to. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. My partner's of West Indian heritage. You see, her mum and dad are from St. Vincent. So the issue of institutional racism in this country and America, it's more close to my heart in this country because obviously having experienced or having dived deeply into it with my partner, I never really had placed myself in the shoes of what it was like to be Black in an institutionally racist country, to grow up. And my partner, I don't speak for my partner, but I think she identifies more with being West Indian than she does British, and that upsets me because it kind of tells me that I know she hasn't felt fully accepted. And anyway, I have gone off piste a little bit, and I don't want to jump on that too much. Yeah. But in answer to your question, so I can't say I've ever experienced any kind of racism or any prejudice in relation to my skin color, right? And I can't say what that is to experience that, and I empathize deeply with it. But for me individually, bullying at school affected me massively. I was a I was an insecure young guy, and I I was very much living isolated in my head. Um, I would express my feelings and get shut down, and then ridiculed. So I learned very quickly to internalize myself,
Okay.
and to keep my authentic self hidden from the world. Constantly screening, can I say this? Should I say this? And then when I was upset, consciously suppressing my emotions because I knew that I would be ridiculed, or I knew I would be singled out, and I was doing everything in my power not to stand out, not
Mm-hmm.
in like, for example, in class at school, I do everything in my power to try and stay hidden. And now I feel like, and this is a new development for me, Craig, since my operation a few weeks ago, I had a tumor removed from my stomach, that this greater flow of love and compassion for myself has come in, and for my younger self, that was really hard for me, at that time in my life. And I didn't know how to say, I'm struggling. I didn't know how to say, you know what, I'm finding this really, really hard, and I need some support, and I need someone to come to me and show me some empathy, and to realize that I don't think this young lad's doing too well. I think he's, do you know what I mean? So yeah, bullying as a teenager, or as a young, as an older sort of from the age of 10 to 16, definitely affected me,
Mm-hmm.
to a strong extent, actually, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. I went through the exact same thing. Like being a kid, I was an introvert, saying, like super quiet, like one of the short ones pretty much.
Right, same, yeah.
So I can relate
Yeah.
to like that. It just reminded me of your video you posted for me, right? And I'll never forget that. That's one of my favorite videos. You was saying like how be so free of being your authentic self, pretty much, right? If I'm saying it right. And that reminds me, imagine if we knew this when we was children. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine like a lot of times you want to say certain things, you want to be yourself, but you kind of process, oh my gosh, what would they think if I'm just being me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would they think if I just say this, or if I say that, or oh my gosh, like, like you're like your shit stuck. You know what I'm saying? So before you get ready to
Yeah.
say something or take an action, you're worried about what everybody else think. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I can definitely
Exhausting,
relate to that.
right?
Yeah, it's
Exhausting.
very exhausting.
Yeah.
It's very exhausting. I got into a few fights just because of that.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I can definitely relate to that as far as the bully aspect. Mine was because I was quiet. So like once you're quiet, it's crazy how like the same thing happens in different countries. Like a lot of times you think, oh, this only happens in America, or some may think this only happens in the UK. Unfortunately, the bully aspect is worldwide. I work in the school system. I do security at a school, so I don't like bullies.
Right.
I hate that I hate the not people who, but not the person who bully. I hate the action
Yes.
of,
Yes.
of the
Yeah.
bullies, pretty much.
Because you understand that the person that's bullying is suffering within themselves as well, right? In a different way.
Yeah.
And I hear your compassion there for all. I was kind of through friends and connections, I was kind of schooled in the belief of compassion for all or none at all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And that what I hear you're saying is that it's the action, right? It's not the individual. So you can if you can meet the individual who is bullying with compassion, maybe they'll change that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Do you know what I
Agreed.
mean?
And unfortunate with kids, and when they get older, they're like, dang, I was a jerk to that person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That I was a
Yeah.
jerk to that person. That's why I say the action. I don't want to say the individual themselves, because a lot of times the kids that when they get our age, they're like, dang, I shouldn't have did that to that person. You know what I'm saying? So, and the individual that's going through that stuff, sometimes what happens to a child in his early stages of life, unfortunately affects him in his adult life.
Yes.
So you get that whole bully. If you agree, feel free to like it.
100%. 100%.
If you go through those same aspects as a child, so become a young adult in the
Yes.
dating world, in life, in pursuing a job, pursuing a career, pursuing school. So
Yeah.
now, like, you're holding yourself in this little bubble, and all your life is following you, following you, following you. So I
Yeah.
definitely understand where you come from because I went through that same thing, you know. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Until I love the way you frame that. You know, you're in this bubble of your childhood that is controlling your adult life
Mm-hmm.
until you stop and do the work
Mm-hmm.
and begin to heal that part of you, that fundamental part of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that you can learn to love yourself, and then as you love yourself, you love all. Because you know, I love the way you frame that, and I can relate completely. My perception of lack of love, my perception of my hurt in my younger years was destroying my life.
Mm.
Up until 3 months from my 30th birthday.
Okay.
And my way of coping with the turmoil within myself was to use drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
I essentially attached to drugs and alcohol as a way of soothing myself.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
you know what I mean? Because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to say, do you know what? I'm really struggling inside. So I anesthetized myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only when I got to the point of, we talk about the jumping off place, we talk about rock bottom, that place where you can't, in Alcoholics Anonymous, I mean, which is what I'm a member of
Okay.
for nearly 10 years now. And that's where my life turned around completely. And so I'm so grateful to the people in the world who give of themselves freely, and I definitely think we can include ourselves in that bracket. So, and that's liberating for me to be able to say I'm grateful for me. And do you know what I'm saying? And to be able to say that free of ego, and say that of true of spirit, that I like me today. I'm a good man, and I have. Do you know what I mean?
I love that. I love that. I love that aspect. You know, saying it reminds me of we have a affirmation wall on our wall, like saying like powerful stuff, like you're strong, you're courageous, you can do this, and it may seem like basic sentence, but those same sentences defeated me 10 years ago. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go back to what you were saying, like, just the freedom of being you feels good. And I can relate to what you're saying earlier. I feel like this pandemic, in a weird way, it's unfortunate people got sick, and it's unfortunate people died and all that. But in a weird way, there's a blessing behind it. There's a silver lining behind this pandemic situation of making new connections around the world and meeting guys like you was truly amazing and having those lifetime connections. Also, there's that connection where you fall in love with yourself. That's how I feel like, yo, I'm gonna be me. In January, I started a whole new Instagram page. I said I want to start over. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to make new connections. This before the Uplift Kings and everything. I want new connections. I want to meet new friends around the world. I'm saying this and not knowing what I'm saying. So it's like,
I've just realised my computer battery's about to die.
Okay.
Sorry, man. You know, the screen goes dim.
It does. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no, we're gonna lose. Yeah. So sorry.
Oh, I gotta keep on going. But like you're saying, it's a beautiful feeling in the world. Like once you can go somewhere and you're being you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I'm learning. Like, be me regardless.
Yeah. Do you know what? One of my favorite phrases is unapologetically me.
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe what I think you're saying is what I felt for so long is that I was sorry was probably one of the biggest words in my vocabulary. You know, sorry. Like, what am I apologizing for? I was riddled with guilt and shame, these very heavy, powerful emotions. I didn't believe I was worthy of love. I didn't, I loathed myself. Self-loathing is, definitely the way to frame how I felt about myself. So, like you say, coming into that space where we have the self-love to be able to say, this is me, take me or leave me. I'm not going to change myself to please you. I'm not going to apologize for being me. Although, interestingly, right, when I was in hospital a few weeks ago and after the operation, and obviously it was traumatic and it triggered a lot of trauma that came out emotionally for me.
Okay.
I found myself apologizing to the nurses and the doctor, just apologizing. And what I realized in that was that the wounded child within me is still very present. and doesn't, you know, on some level doesn't believe he's worthy of that love, you know. So all this love, I felt like love I was getting from the nurses and all that care, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's still this very deep rooted feeling of I'm not worthy, but I believe that for myself now I'm healing on a deeper level, and I think that the healing goes on and it goes on, and you know there are certainly levels to these feelings that we can allow ourselves to feel for ourselves, right?
Okay.
And seeing your relationship with your partner, I love that. You two are just shining so bright, and it's beautiful. It really is. Do you know what? It gives me witnessing that, and you being sort of projecting it out so beautifully into the world. It affirms for me that I'm worthy of that too. And
You are.
right, and thank you for saying that. I've been with my partner for 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I realised that for so long, the fear of allowing myself to be loved, you know, of letting her in,
Mm-hmm.
of not feeling worthy of that love,
Mm-hmm.
and then that becoming a self-sabotaging thing, you know, pushing her away and all of that stuff. Now to get to a point where I want to invite that in, and I want to express it more.
Yeah.
It's quite a journey.
It is, and my advice to you on that, just that's the best thing you can do. Because matter of fact, me and her talked about that like yesterday. Matter of fact, we go on our dates pretty much. We put our phone down. We have conversations. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people go on dates and be just doing this all day. And now we put our phone down. We take a picture of the food, you know, that type of stuff like everybody else does. But other than that, it's just because that's something that I learned from her. Is just I can be me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Allow yourself to be you in a relationship. Allow her to be her relationship. Man, you're doing the same thing and she's doing the same thing, and man, it's a beautiful thing to see. Trust me. So just
I can see.
It takes time. Yeah, but
yeah.
You know, it's perfect.
But do you think we needed that permission? We in a way we needed that permission from people in our lives to be able to find the courage to embrace ourselves, right? I get the impression from what I've heard from you that it would have been hard to do that without support. It's certainly for me, like I would never be where I am today without the huge amount of support that I've had over the last 9.5 years. It's been immense. And I know that there are people that there is a whole number of people in the world that I can lean on for support and just develop a healthy relationship that will carry me, carry them. We all carry each other together, don't we, to achieve great things.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I got your back.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. Yeah, I felt that from the first moment we started chatting.
Yeah, I can tell.
That sounds like a bit of a love story, doesn't it? From the first moment that we started.
Like I knew that was it. I'm like, come on, brother.
Bit toppy. People are like, what's going?
That's funny. But we have a lot of because we have a lot of similarities, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like how the way you're talking to certain things you grew up in a certain background, pretty much, and your story reminds me of me in a sense, like especially the relationship part. And you're speaking of far like feeling like you're not worthy. You know what I'm saying? Like I could definitely attest to that. My past relationships with females, and it was like I felt like I wasn't good enough. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So it felt like I had to accept a lot of BS. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of stuff like bro, if I knew what I knew now, I was like, yo, don't talk to me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can have those high standards. It doesn't make you arrogant at all.
No.
Like I know my worth. I'm a king. Like you're a king. You know your worth. I
love that.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. Yeah. Man.
I'm with you 100%. We are worthy. We are worthy. Yeah, and valuing ourselves. And it's not, as you say, it's not an arrogance.
At all.
You know, because if it's rooted in love, and not rooted in ego, and so it's rooted in spirit and not ego, then we can't fail. I mean, for me, I have to be quite conscious to my wounded ego that does want to grasp, that does want to control, that does want to, you know, that's part still very much a reality within me that I have to maintain awareness, maintain connected, because otherwise I can fall back into you know, more destructive thinking, and do you know what I mean? So accepting that there is that part of me that is wounded still, but that nothing is impossible on a healing level, that we can always continue to heal at a deeper level.
Agree. I think that reminds me of something when we was in a live chat on your Facebook group, talk about that.
Oh yes.
This the ego part, and you was talking about like how, like, you know how like we're doing something amazing pretty much, and either you got a podcast or you post a video, you talking and worry about, oh man, why nobody even like it, or why,
Yes.
why only get 5 likes, and it's hard to let go of, but I feel like I'm getting better with, in a sense of, because once you know your purpose is really full, and it's come from your heart, you realize that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I say every time I post something. You know what I'm saying? Like every time, like, you got a good mission, and it's for your heart and save lives, not just doing this to just do it. You know, so like I said, like we were saying before, like, keep doing what you're doing, man. It takes time to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, this thing called life, we continue to grow. We continue to work on ourselves. There's still going to be certain triggers and certain things in life that remind us of our past, but we continue to grow. We continue to grow regardless.
Yeah, and I hear you. A really bit that jumped out at me there when you were talking was that it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for me, that's been, I want everything, like my ego wants everything now. Like I have to do it now. It has to be now. And like you said about the likes thing, and you said to me, but people are watching. So, you know, it's not about the likes. Although the ego wants to go, what it doesn't. Hold on a minute. What, you know? But it's for me, it's like listening to that part of myself, and like you said, remaining strong in understanding the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose is service, right? Pure service, love. It's not complicated. It isn't complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But my mind will try to make it, you know, try and lead it, or, you know, this, that, the other, self-doubt, I'm not enough, why, you know, all of that. But the key for me is that I'm aware of it, and then I have a choice. Do I act on it, or do I not act on it? And sometimes I act on it, and it's about having the compassion for myself to go, do you know what, you're not perfect, and you know, you're allowed to screw up sometimes, you're allowed to make mistakes, and you know, and then to sit down and reflect and ask myself, well, what have I learned from that, you know, and then integrate it and grow, and as you say, keep growing, in connection.
Keep growing and keep connecting. I think a lot of times us as people, we're worried about what people say, and the thing is, half of the ones that's judging us ain't doing nothing. You know, and half of the ones is like, oh, look what he's doing. They're not working on themselves.
No.
You know what I'm saying? They're not starting a podcast. They're not leading a men's group. You know what I'm saying? They're not making like connections. You know what I'm saying? So even if they are and they don't like what you're doing, that's okay. That means I ain't for you.
We're not for everyone, are we? No, that's
I had there was this lady who tried to interview me, like it's like when I first started Uplift Kings, right? Like in the very beginning stages. And she was telling me like she don't approve of my podcast. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I guess she thought I'd get upset and start getting angry. I said, that's okay. I said, it doesn't mean I don't like you or anything like that. And it means I'm not for you. And it's okay. Like, even if our favorite rapper or something like that comes out with an album, right? You like, and your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna download this Eminem album. Oh, this.
I was going to say, Eminem's your favorite rapper, isn't he?
My favorite rapper, yes.
I did think that was from my like middle class white British perspective. That was ironic for me, because I thought, well, how do your black brothers feel about that? I mean, I don't know. That was just from my mindset.
That's a good question. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, why you don't like?
Are they? Okay.
There's some people who think that, but when he started rapping in the beginning, I didn't know he's white.
Really? Okay.
I didn't care if he was whatever. He got skills, and what helped me was, you know, that song "Not Afraid."
Not Afraid. I knew you. Yeah.
That song helped me lose weight. That song helped me get out of that depression. So I used to listen to that song over and over. When I tell you, like, I used to go on a treadmill and run for 3 hours straight.
Really?
Like, nonstop. Dad, not afraid. I'm okay. I'm not afraid.
Wow. So that is the life-changing track for you, yeah?
Yeah, that's every time that comes on, I'm like, I'm feeling good. So it's like there are certain people, and we all have our opinions. You know what I'm saying? So that goes back to
Yeah.
what I was saying. Like your favorite rapper drops a song, you're like, oh, you're thinking, oh, this is fire. I love this. One person goes, oh, that sucks, man. Why is he? He's trash. Or what? That's what people do to people. Everybody gets critiqued.
Right. Live and let live. That's what you're saying, isn't it? Live and
Right.
let live.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and some people say, oh, Jordan's the best, LeBron's the best. They're like, nah, he sucks. I'm like, they get that, and I get it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay.
There's so much humility in what you're saying, isn't there? Let live and let live. Let people, if that's what you like, let them like it. If that's what you like, let them like it.
Yeah.
We're all projecting our own judgments onto the world, aren't we? Going, you can't do that and you can't do this. And if we all just allow each other to be ourselves and meet each other in that space and with respect and love and kindness, then we're all good.
Yeah.
It's only when we start telling other people, no, you can't do this, and you've got to do this, and you can't do that, that we come into troubles, right?
Yeah. And I feel like I think we're both saying the same thing. I feel like 2020, we both are like in this aspect of really being authentic self. I feel like.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the biggest lesson to learn. Like 2020 can still be your year. You know what I'm saying? So we both in that step. Like, I like me. I'm feeling good. So I try to take that attitude everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even I'm in the gym lifting weights and like, I'm good. I'm not worried about what the next guy is doing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, why is he posting? Yeah, because I want to.
Look at that. That lit you up, didn't it? I love that. That's great. Because I want, yeah. I'm gonna respect you. And if you don't show me respect, I'm not gonna allow that to affect me. I'm not gonna allow that's a real courageous thing, knowing saying what we both said, right, about our life experience. I think that's a massive thing for me. Definitely, do you know what I mean? It's a massive, massive thing to, and I can't say that I'm fully there with that, Craig, but I'm definitely learning more so to be there. Actually, probably one of the things, a fear maybe that's held me back from doing a YouTube thing and projecting a message more out into the world is that maybe still fear of judgment, of like, how are they going to receive this? And of course people are going to mock, and of course people are going to judge, and of course they're going to, but the fundamental truth that I need to digest for myself on a deeper level is that says nothing about me at all. It's nothing about me, it's about them. And if I can meet any negativity, right, that comes my way, if I can meet it with love, then it just dissipates, doesn't it? There's no, if hate comes your way and you love that person back, they've got nothing to say. You can't, do you know what I mean? Love defeats hate. Definitely.
It will all the time. And just I was battling that when I first started. I first started speaking, and I first started doing videos. And my first episode, I'm like, oh God, I'm nervous. It's just like, and now you get that every episode. It's like, okay, there's a growth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've witnessed that. I've seen it. Yeah, I saw I could tell you were slightly nervous at the beginning.
I remember that. I was
like, yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, but it's like, it's in a weird way, it's a blessing in a sense. Because literally watching yourself grow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I'm learning, it's like, okay, I need to speak more. I need to, now that I'm getting comfortable with my voice and comfortable talking, because for me, I felt like talking was my weak point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to, what if I articulate this way? I'm like, no, I'm going to be me. I don't got to use these $75 words and all this. Like, I'm going to be me. So, that's the best way I can do it.
Yeah, man, shining bright. You are. Yeah,
you too, man. You too.
Yeah. It is wonderful, isn't it? It really is. And and the opportunity that we both have now to lead by example for other guys, connect. And there's so many movements out there. I'm now connecting with loads of men who have a similar vision to ourselves, and it's about understanding what it is to be a man in the modern age, is to express ourselves emotionally, to understand what's going on emotionally, to be honorable, respectful, strong, and the thing that I really want to work on is educating young men on what principles are going to help them to live a fulfilled life. you know. And you are an amazing representation of humility. You really are, because you're so about demonstrating what it is to just accept oneself and accept another on an even level, despite the hate you receive. And there is so much suffering in the world, right? There's so much hate in the world. So there's so much work to be done in raising the frequency of love to dissipate that hate, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what I think, and I was conscious, I'd sort of prepared for because you were going to ask about race in America and everything, and I was quite nervous, as I said, about that question, being a white middle class British guy, but because I only have my limited perception, right? And the key to, I believe the key to us healing is to really listen to one another. Like, do you know what I'm saying? To be able to go, like, I don't know what like that's been like for you, and I really want to try and understand, my own prejudices, my own internal racism, my blind spots, so that we can all heal together. But I did want to say one thing around that, is that maybe we need to stop watching the damn TV and media so much, because I get the impression that there's an agenda that they actually, the powers that be, want us to be fighting. They want us to be having these, do you know what I mean?
They do.
They want to increase the hate levels when
they do.
It's on the people, it's on us, the people, to have the courage to talk about the uncomfortable things and heal through them, right, together.
Yeah. I love what you just said. Like you said, if I don't understand, I want to understand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you, like, that means a lot. There's certain people who are speaking without understanding something. You know what I'm saying? Who are speaking for certain people, and then when they do that, it puts a negativity on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's like that. You know what I'm saying? So the way you said it is that I want to understand. There are some things I don't understand, and that's a real conversation. I commend you on just being honest. Like, look, I don't understand what's going on. I want to understand that way I can help in any way I can. It takes all of us to end this racism. It really does. And there are some people who are speaking out on different races. Like, I'm gonna say this. I'm like, why would you say that without actually knowing what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just commend you on that. That's what we're doing now. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Just having that connection. You know?
I hear you. Take it, and it's about taking the time, like you say, to listen and understand, and put your own experience to one side, isn't it? And I think that probably one of the things that helps me to do that better for myself is the fact that I'm a counsellor. So a big part of my job is to take myself and put it to one side and immerse myself in the world of my client. But you know, I think that with the media side of things, there's so much focus on the negative, but there is so much positive out there if you look in the right places. And this is what when you realize that this, and I don't want to get too political, but when you realize that the state is not, their agenda is not one of love, because when you direct your attention to platforms where there's so much love and healing and conversation, why is the media not projecting that out more? Why aren't they sending that message out? Because if we turn the levels up on that vibration, then we'll all begin to heal more. But they seem to be turning the levels up on the negative still, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like there are so many negative. This is why I don't watch the news. Honestly, I don't.
Same.
I watch it. I know enough to know what's going on.
Yeah, same.
That's it. That's all I need. I don't need, because if you look at the news, just keep scrolling. Oh my God, this people died. That people died. COVID, you passed away, and there's a lot of things they don't. Even with the COVID situation,
they're feeding us. They're feeding hate, aren't they?
Yeah.
Here's more hate. Here's more hate. And of course, I'm not saying like we need to be upset and want change and everything, don't we? But hate is a different thing, isn't it? Because then that closes us off to hearing.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? From all angles, it closes us off to hearing. And I really do believe that around the issue of race, it's such a deep wound, isn't it? such a deep wound.
It is a deep wound, and because they want you to close off with race. They want you to say, well, I'm not working with that person because he don't look like me.
Right.
So a lot of people think, well, because that person said this, now I'm associate that with everybody that look like that person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's why I say I commend you on saying what you're saying. Like, I may not know everything, but I want to know. That way I can help in any way. So it's like that everybody's thinking that way. So the media wants you to think a certain thing. Well, there's so much hatred. Yeah, it is going on. There's hatred. There's COVID situations, and even with situation with COVID, you can still beat that. Somebody in my family has that, and thank God, she's better and doing so good. So
she has. You say that again. She had what? What does she have?
She had COVID.
Right.
Yeah, COVID-19, and she's actually doing pretty good and doing amazing.
Oh, okay.
Back to herself and all that. So the media wants you to be scared of everything. Like they project fear, they project hate. You know, since they want you to say, as soon as you get in the situation, you're gonna pass away. Then you look at it, oh my gosh, look at all this going on, and now.
Yeah.
Like I interviewed one of my friends yesterday. He was like, sometimes you gotta just sit back and just relax for a second. You know what I'm saying? You gotta sit back and like, you know what? Let me relax for a second.
What's going on?
Let me really see what's going on first.
Yeah.
For myself.
Yeah, for myself.
Myself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Because as you say, the mass media want us to think a certain way, right?
Yeah.
And now with the mobile phone, right? The algorithms and everything, they are controlling what you then are seeing.
Yep.
So if you're clicking on anything that is kind of hate, you know, has a strong message of hate, then you're getting that same narrative continuously. You're continuing to program your brain in that outlook, aren't you?
Yeah.
But I'm definitely an optimist with all this stuff, massively.
Insane.
Because I see, you know, in the UK, obviously since George Floyd, which, I mean, when I saw that, I couldn't watch it, and I couldn't, you know, I just couldn't. I don't have the words for it, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It was so upsetting. And then to think, you know, the same thing's been happening here in the UK for time.
Oh wow. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? There's so many young black males in particular, and black females who've suffered at the hands of the police.
Yeah.
And you know, I won't delve too much into that, but you know, it's my understanding of this was, so up until I met my partner nearly 7 years ago, I was so blind to any of this because I grew up in a white environment. I had no black friends as a child. Okay. So, and I've understood as time, because I've dived quite deeply on this topic. I felt like it was I needed to understand my partner's experience. Out of love, do you know what I mean? And understanding, for example, her father told me stories of the racial abuse he experienced when he came to the UK in the 70s. You know, physical abuse, being, you know, all of this stuff. And I'd never stopped to really question the history of Great Britain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what I was taught in schools was polarized to the notion of Great Britain, right? Of empire, of conquering, and I mean, like, I don't want to use a better way of putting it, but raping and pillaging and enslaving. And you know, I think the work here in the UK, I can't speak for America, but the work here in the UK is to really deconstruct the history of Great Britain, and for us to really own up to the facts of the absolute injustice. Not injustice doesn't do it credit of our history, and how that is still impacting black people dramatically in the modern day in the United Kingdom. It's not acceptable to me that my partner doesn't feel she can call herself British, right? And she was born and bred in the UK. Do you know what I'm saying? Of course, she has a great connection with the West Indies because that's her parents' heritage. But I'd like to think that she was born and bred in the UK and that she would have a huge identity with I'm British, but she doesn't. Do you know what I'm saying by that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and so yeah, my partner always tells me off for talking too much about race, but I'm very much passionate about it because I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
I think I understand how vitally important it is that we talk about it.
It's very important to have those real conversations, pretty much. And the more I realize, like, living in the U.S., you kind of think it's just here. You know what I'm saying? So realize, like, this is global, and like this is really global. And the unfortunate part, a lot of things we're taught as kids, and you're thinking like, dang, I need to do my research.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Even as a black man, like I got to do my research. I'm still doing research on certain things, and what certain statues mean. You know what I'm saying?
What you were taught in school wasn't the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah. Well, I
It
saw
was a
more than the truth.
polarized view, right?
Polarized me, yeah. And the same thing is what certain statues mean, or why certain statues getting taken down, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense. So it's
Did
like,
you see that in the UK in Bristol, which is where the main shipping port is?
is that the one that got in the water?
That's right.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
they've been campaigning for that to be removed for a long time.
yeah,
And then obviously with the protests,
yeah.
not protests, the peaceful demonstrations, should I say? Watching that happen, and the police didn't intervene because it was the right. Okay, yeah, the government's saying we can't condone that behaviour, but at the same time, the people have been saying,
Yeah.
for years, take it down, and the government had shown them no respect in doing that.
Right.
So I think sometimes we have to take the law into our own hands in some way, and if we want change, we got to go out and get it.
We do. And at the same times over here, we don't have. I'm gonna say this, and I don't care if I don't like it. To be honest, on this end, we don't have leadership.
No.
We don't. I mean, there's a body there, but our president doesn't really do anything.
No.
To be honest, you know what I'm saying. So he doesn't do anything. So a lot of us feel like we need to take charge in this. So I feel you on that. That situation right there.
I think there's some amazing stuff on the doorstep. I think there's going to be some amazing. I really believe that we're gonna experience some amazing growth and connection worldwide. I really hope so. But at the same time, I imagine we'll also experience a lot of catastrophe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I try to like just to think about the stuff that's been happening as far as the positive stuff, pretty much like. Us making connections and people around the world, like, we're all tired of this.
Yeah.
We're all tired of this shit. So it's like, and just having those different backgrounds just all together. Like, look, man, no more. Like, we're not our last generation. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do things differently. So when the kids come up in the future behind us, they're like, no, y'all see what our parents did. We ain't having that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's setting a new standard. Like, you know what? Y'all not.
Yeah.
We ain't doing this to us no more. Yeah.
Right.
What is it? There's that part.
The line is. Do you know what I mean? It's so clear.
Yeah.
This is not to be crossed.
Yeah. Definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Clear boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not to be crossed. Man,
right, we dived into that, didn't we, a little bit? That was
it's fine. I went completely off script, and I don't mind.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, people need to see this. So I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's good.
And I think it's I agree with you 100%, because I think that it's important to mention race in that like I said at the beginning, like uplift kings. And I saw that, and I said to my partner, Craig's invited me on, and I'm very conscious that the word king is used in the black community as a mark of respect for black men. And I thought, how are black men going to think about me coming on Craig's show as a white guy? And then I thought, well, who's Craig? And then that was my answer, right? Because you are the epitome of humility and love. So you're celebrating all human beings, and you don't see divide, and I really love that, because I think that's where we need to get to in acknowledging our differences. Don't get me wrong, acknowledging our differences, but finding our common ground so that we can just love each other. I mean, that must sound a bit cheesy, but
that was like, the ultimate goal. Like to when I first started, I just didn't want to just do one particular crowd. I want everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody can be a king. Like I wanted everybody like across the globe, and I want everybody. I want to have conversations with all different backgrounds. I might learn something from somebody else, and I'm definitely always like, really, I didn't know. So it just having that, I see the world as beautiful.
Yes.
Even in the sense of a lot of this chaos and all this, there is a beautiful things about the world. You know, saying different connections and different backgrounds coming together and just making that brotherly love come together. You know, so that's why I love what I'm doing, and it's for free. I'm not doing it for the money, but the sense of somebody saying, "Man, I love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it." And that's that motivation. Like, oh, I got to keep going.
Yes.
It helps.
You have got to keep going.
Yeah. It helps.
Yeah, you're on such a growth, positive growth. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. I want one of those T-shirts.
Okay, I got you.
And I'll sort you the money. Don't worry about that. But
okay,
I want one of those T-shirts.
Okay, I'm thinking of doing hoodies too because it's getting kind of chilly.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, that might be a better shout for the UK because we're coming into that as well.
Okay, let's do that.
Did I ask you where you are in the States? I'm not sure I even asked where you are in the States.
DMV. That's DC, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, pretty much.
Oh, okay. So is that just coming down the coast from New York?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long would it take to drive to New York from where you are?
New York is 4 hours.
Not too long in American standards, then.
Yeah, New York is 4 hours. I'm in Maryland, but DC is literally like across the street.
Oh, okay.
We're like right across.
You go to Gold's Gym, don't you?
Yeah,
which is quite famous, isn't it? Yeah, I saw that.
I love that place.
I bet. Well, you never know, man. One day I'll come over. I've got an amazing friend, Francois Lepore, who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm definitely when it will allow, I want to go over to America and meet up with everyone because I'm loving the energy that the people I connect with in America.
That's why I said this is a lifetime connection, brother. Like, I always wanted to come to that area too. Eventually, when it's
you're very welcome, man. You're very welcome. I'm going to London. Yeah. Bring you and your missus come over, and because you've been connecting with loads of people I've been connecting with, right? So
I see that.
If we got our shit together, we can create like a day, do you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be amazing?
I'm actually working on it.
Are you already doing that?
And you're one of them.
Awesome, man.
Awesome. I'm actually working on that. Putting together like a massive men's retreat in October of next year in this area.
Wow.
So and you're definitely I was going to tell you about this one day, but now you know.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
what near to where you are, right?
Yeah. In this area, DC, like having all the guys meet up in different spots, pretty much, and just doing like if we can't meet up because of the COVID, we probably thinking doing like a massive like a Zoom situation where everybody gets to speak and all that type of stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll chat more after this, but I'll connect you with some people that I think might be helpful for you to connect with around that who are already doing those kind of things. You probably have already, but I'll
man, I would definitely love to meet you in person, bro. For real, like, yeah.
Know that.
My last question. I always ask my guests, what motivates you? Get up in the morning, brushing your teeth, get your hair together, pretty much. What motivates you?
I'm currently going through a hair transition at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So my hair's all over the place. I'm growing it long.
Okay.
Yeah, but what motivates me is just that I am in a position to be able to potentially help someone find the innate resilience and energy that exists within them to be able to heal themselves. That I'm just a guide, and I've been given this healing from where I was to be able to take what my own experience, take my learnings, and offer that to someone in the hope that it may help them change their lives.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can't change anyone's life for them. You know, it's on that person. But I believe in myself to the degree that I can get up in the day and I can do something positive with my day and work towards doing greater things that will hopefully connect people with others and themselves so that they can live the life that they're deserving of.
Yeah, I love that.
But I would say knowing my values more so than ever, and the principles that I want to project out into the world, I'm so focused on that now, and knowing that wholeheartedly, then it's simple. Mm-hmm. Simplicity is what, keep it simple, and yeah.
I love that. You give in the morning, you got a purpose, and your purpose is to help other people. And, you know, I say this all the time. It's just like, I really believe you're supposed to go through life, you know, go through situations, you know, give thanks to God for bringing you out. Extend the hand back to the next person. Look, I got you, you know, and things like that makes the world such a beautiful place. Before we go, feel free to tell the audience where to find you, as far as your Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that.
So my Instagram handle is my name, as you can see it there, at Ewan Corlett. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. On Facebook, I've just created the Young Men Evolution private group. Find it, knock on the door. If you want to connect with men, and the purpose of the group is to try and promote a vulnerability for guys to open up and just share a little bit with one another. Know that if they need some connection, that it's there in some degree. Check that out. And and I'm beginning to put. So I recently put a coaching program together, 8-week intensive coaching program, which is also about obviously connecting guys, but delivering a transformational experience for young men specifically who, you know, are lacking confidence, awareness, a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, meaning, all of that, you know. I'm offering that, and you can find everything. You can find all the links on my Instagram page. So but if anything that I've said throughout our talk today has resonated with anyone, and anyone wants to have a chat with me, then just shoot me a DM, man. We'll just have a chat.
Shoot him a DM. He's amazing. A great person to talk to. This was an amazing episode. For anyone that's listening, again, Walking Purposes every Sunday on all major platforms. You also get a visual version on a YouTube version. Go to the visual version also. You'll love it. You get to see us talking. You get to see our faces. You get to see our reactions pretty much. And again, a big takeaway from this. Feel free to be your authentic self. Feel free to be you. Feel free to walk with your head up high, no matter where you at, your job, your apartment, your gym, wherever you go to. Walk with your head up high. You're a king. And if you're a female, you're a queen. Walk with your head up high. You're great. End of the day, you get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm great. I'm handsome. I'm beautiful. Just imagine what you could do to yourself if you love yourself on a deeper level and pass on the love to someone else. Anyone's listening, thank you so much, and have a great day.